Hello, hello. I'm so happy to see you again. For me, there is nothing better than investing my time in giving you the menopause education you deserve. You've come to an education on your menopause your way. I'm Menopause Taylor, your teacher. I'm actually a gynecologist, even though I'm dressed as a zebra. You see, I'll do whatever it takes to make this education fun and unforgettable. A normal gynecologist would don the white doctor's coat, deliver the information using medical terminology, and probably bore you to tears. But I'm not normal. Not only do I think out of the box, I dissemble the box, and I wonder why there is even a box. So I teach you in a way that works for you. And I think that laughing and learning go very well together. So, why am I dressed as a zebra? Well, it's because our topic for today is on your psychological options for preventing epithelial ovarian cancer. And I'll be using zebras to impart the lesson. This is video number 447. The 35th video in our unit on epithelial ovarian cancer. If you have my book, chapter 32 is the chapter on epithelial ovarian cancer. But today's lesson comes from a different book. This is the book we'll be addressing today. It's titled, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by Robert M. Sapolsky. So now you know why I'm dressed as a zebra. Now, this book explains why zebras don't get ulcers, and I'm going to explain why they don't get epithelial ovarian cancer either. If you go back to the big chart of risk factors for epithelial ovarian cancer, you see that the last category of risk factors is psychological stress and depression. It's in the last row in lavender. And anytime there's a risk factor for a disease, you can decrease your risk for that disease by minimizing or omitting that particular risk factor. So we'll talk about decreasing your risk for epithelial ovarian cancer by decreasing stress and depression in your life. The author of this book, Robert M. Sapolsky, is a professor of biology at Stanford University and a scientist at the Institute of Primate Research in Kenya. He studies animals and applies what he learns to humans. And boy, by reading his work, you see that we are so similar to animals, especially zebras. The name of this book comes from the fact that for zebras, as well as most other non-human animals on Earth, stress consists of short-term crises. And after the short-term crisis, either the stress is gone or the animal is gone. A zebra lives on the plains, calmly and peacefully going about its zebra life with all the other zebras. The zebra eats and sleeps and mates and cares for its young. Its life is routine and ordinary. There are no special zebras. They don't have jobs, cars, or bills to pay. There's no focus on possessions, getting ahead, or measuring up to another zebra's standards. The zebra is just yet another zebra. 99% of the zebra's life is uneventful. There's no excitement and no disappointment. It's just stable. That is, until the lion shows up. And when the lion shows up, the zebra experiences high stress. But it's only for a very short time. And that's because the lion either kills a different zebra, in which case the stress is over, or the lion kills our zebra. Ooh, that would be me. in which case the stress is over. No matter what the situation, a zebra's life is steady and stable for the vast majority of the zebra's entire life. So let's use this as our frame of reference and see how the zebra's life compares to our lives. On the list of risk factors, we have two psychological entities that constitute risk factors for epithelial ovarian cancer: stress and depression. When you think about it, they're really opposites. They are both governed by your nervous system. One turns it on and the other turns it off. Anatomically, your brain sends messages through your nervous system to tell the rest of your body what to do. It sends these messages via your autonomic nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system is your body's apparatus for dealing with stress, and it has two opposing sides. Your sympathetic nervous system controls your reaction to stress. Your parasympathetic nervous system controls your reaction to peace. The words sympathetic and parasympathetic are long and intimidating to some people. And you know what? A lot of my viewers speak English as a second, third, or fourth language. So I always try to simplify things. You can just remember S is for stress and P is for peace. So sympathetic, or S, is all about stress, and parasympathetic, or P, is all about peace. Our two risk factors for epithelial ovarian cancer are really overreactions of either your sympathetic or your parasympathetic nervous system. So too much stress or too much peace, which is also passivity. Your stress-controlling sympathetic nervous system goes into action when there's a crisis. It's the one that controls the zebra when the lion shows up. And it causes one of four reactions to the stress: fight, flight, fright, or freeze. Of course, both you and the zebra can experience one or more of these for the same crisis. But regardless of which one you experience, it represents an overreaction of your sympathetic nervous system. Specific stress neurotransmitters start gushing into your bloodstream, making every part of your body go into stress mode. And stress is stress. It overstimulates every organ that is stressed. And eventually, the stress response becomes more damaging than the actual stressor. On the other side of the spectrum, your peace-controlling parasympathetic nervous system goes into action when there's peace. It's the one that controls the zebra during the 99% of its life when there's no lion present. It causes your body to go into a relaxed, vegetative state. It's what takes over when you sleep. Specific neurotransmitters start gushing into your bloodstream, making every part of your body go into peace mode. And these neurotransmitters slow the function of every organ that is at rest. Eventually, the relaxation response becomes more damaging than the slowed organ itself. Your body doesn't want either of these extremes. It wants to be in the middle, between the two of them. There's a term for the stable, steady state that our bodies crave. It's called homeostasis. Homeostasis is the ideal, middle-of-the-road, not too stressed, not too relaxed, steady state that your body craves. You can think of homeostasis as a nice, straight line. Well, The very reason that both stress and depression are risk factors for epithelial ovarian cancer is that we don't conduct our lives like the zebra does. Instead of being in a steady, stable, straight line state most of the time, we have adopted lifestyles that take us from one extreme to the other. So you zigzag. You go from A to Z and from Z to A all day long, again and again and again. Eventually, the excessive stress or the excessive peace becomes toxic to your body in a way that damages genes. And that genetic damage is what increases your risk for epithelial ovarian cancer. We humans have complicated our lives so much that instead of true crises causing our sympathetic nervous system to go into fight, flight, fright, or freeze, it's relatively little things that cause it to do so. It happens in response to being late, hearing something undesirable, receiving a text message, feeling jealous, disagreeing with someone, and on and on. We have essentially turned little stressors into big stressors. And because your body has become so used to being stressed every few minutes, the state of peace that is supposed to feel good to you instead feels sad. On that other side of the spectrum, we've created the need to avoid stress to the extreme. We need less stimulation to counteract the overstimulation. So we zigzag to the opposite end of the spectrum. But when we do that, the lack of overstimulation feels like understimulation, and that leads to depression. You should really exist in one middle-of-the-road psychological state 99% of the time. The nice, straight line, like the zebra. But instead, you're zigzagging from A to Z, minute to minute, hour to hour, and day to day. You go from aroused to zonked, acting out to zoned out, action-packed to zapped, anything to zilch, a buzz to zzz. If you're not going from A to Z, you're going from Z to A. Zesty to angry, zeal to apathy, zenith to abyss. Your body wasn't made to tolerate this. And so your risk for epithelial ovarian cancer and possibly other cancers increases. The key to decreasing your risk of epithelial ovarian cancer from the standpoint of these psychological risk factors is to omit them from your life. Figure out what creates the nice, straight line of homeostasis for you, and modify your life accordingly. You do not have to live your life like all the other zigzagging humans around you if you find their way of life stressful or depressing. Our autonomic nervous systems are not all the same. What stimulates one person exhausts another. What stimulates one person depresses another. All that matters is what produces that straight line of homeostasis for you. I've told you before that I do not text with anybody for anything for any reason. It's not because I have zebra hooves instead of human fingers. It's because I find it stressful. If my cell phone lights up, pings, or buzzes, I feel stress neurotransmitters surge through my body. And it doesn't feel good to me. It overstimulates me. You know, I've asked my personal assistant, Simon, who is human, to explain why it is that people like texting. And Simon says, well, Most people love that little rush they get when somebody sends them a text. That rush is their nice straight line of homeostasis. So that little rush is peaceful to them and stressful to me. Thus, I have no texting in my life. On the other hand, I can work on intellectual things at my desk for hours on end, and I'm smiling the whole time. There is nothing more peaceful for me. That's my nice straight line of homeostasis. I've got all sorts of mental stress going on in my brain, yet my body and my environment are both completely at peace. But most people would find that boring, if not depressing. They'd feel understimulated. The great thing about decreasing your risk of epithelial ovarian cancer with this risk factor is that you know how you're doing by how you feel. It's a subjective thing. So all you have to do is pay attention to your own body. There are no rules other than the ones your own body imposes on you. Whatever you do, don't zigzag. Find your nice straight line of homeostasis. Try to maximize the homeostatic state in your life. Be more like a zebra. All right, that's it for today. There's no real summary other than find your nice straight line of homeostasis so that you don't zigzag between the overstimulation of stress and the understimulation of depression. Next week, I'll give you a comparison of all your options for reducing your risk of epithelial ovarian cancer, because now we've completed our videos on each one individually. You can achieve homeostasis by scheduling a consultation with me at menopausetailored.me. And you can further enhance it by subscribing here to my channel and my newsletter. You'll not find anything overstimulating or understimulating if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Between now and the next video, I will work steadily on creating the best menopause education for you that I can. And I will love every minute of it. Bye-bye.